Welcome to Momtroversial, the podcast that dives headfirst into the beautiful chaos of motherhood and dishes on the stuff we wish we'd known and nobody tells you. This is your tribe for informed consent and unfiltered real talk.
I'm Leah, a scrunchy nurse writing the Hot Mess Express. I'm your girl's girl, here to remind you that it's fine, you're fine, everything is fine.
I'm Alyssa, crunchy mom who's all about organic living with a side of mac and cheese. I'm organized, opinionated, and your designated wingwoman in any parenting barf.
And I'm Tori, your ride or die chaos coordinator, who will absolutely hold your baby and your secrets. Here to get in the trenches with the filter off and the vibes real, girls. And guys, if you're a guy who listens to Momtroversial, but mostly girls.
I feel like we'll have made it when guys start listening.
Yes.
What?
Travis literally said the other day that he's like, so when do Ryan and I get to do like our dad spotlights? Because last week was Father's Day. And he's like, so is this where we get to jump in and be in the episode? And I'm like, babe, I love you, but no, you wish.
We're just not there
Okay,
yet.
low key though, we do need to have the dads on eventually.
I completely agree whenever they want to. I would be down anytime because I feel like they are a good time and a half. So how has potty training been going?
Bro, she's like potty trained more or less. I mean, don't get me wrong, she has accidents, but they've only happened at home, which is kind of funny to me. Like anytime I put her in undies and then I pull up over her undies when we go out somewhere. And I'm like on it, making sure we go potty and everything.
Right.
But she has kept her undies dry whenever we've gone out. She's had a few accidents at home. Yesterday, though, she had 0 accidents all day. So that was exciting.
Yay.
But yeah, she's like kind of killing it. And she'll tell every time she goes potty, undies dry, mommy.
So jealous.
Undies dry.
I'm so jealous. Wish that Declan would have been that easy because homie literally pooped on the porch yesterday, and I'm just so over it, dude. Again,
here's the thing, though.
He was running
He's a poop porcher,
and had a poop fall out of his butt on his way inside on our run.
Oh my god.
Here's the thing, though. Ella will be so easy because
she will.
Gets to
I was just thinking.
The only thing is she might want to stand up and pee or something. Luckily, she's not old enough luckily she's not old enough for the example to be set of pooping on the porch.
Yeah.
So
homegirl is standing up though. Let me tell you, for the first time, homegirl decided that she is getting in that deep 8 and then standing and then sitting, and she'll stand up and she'll go. It's so cute.
She's her own biggest fan.
You got to send us some videos of that. That's cute.
Well, and Leah booking a modeling shoot for Ella for double what the agents asked for.
Yeah, boyo.
Okay, you're gonna have to share those tips. That
can't take any credit. Alyssa did it all.
Yes, you can.
Oh, I literally was like, hey, can you help me out? Somebody wants Ella. I was like, what did I say? I said, what do I say, boss, to Alyssa? And Alyssa's like, oh, you should start high. Let's see what we can get first and see what she says back. And then I did. And I said, I want 200,000 won an hour. And they were like, okay, we'll be in touch. I was like,
well, all right.
I was like, did I ask for too little? Should we have asked for more?
Here's the thing. You ask for that much and you go, if you can get in with the photographer, then you're cutting out the middleman of the modeling agency, which is great for you because you're an involved parent and she really works better with you anyways. Then, once you've got a few shoots under your belt with this model, or with this photographer, then be like, you know what, her fee's $250 now for.
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Because and so she said that they'd get in touch with me for more details. So Travis and I, our goal is we want to buy Whoop bands, which do you know what a Whoop band is, Tori?
No, I was just going to ask you what in the
I just learned. So
it's kind of like a smartwatch, but it's not. And it tracks all your sleep, your fitness, not as good at women's stuff as other things. So you can't use it for birth control on its own, but it will track hormones and your temperature and all of these things. And you buy the band and the membership. And for us to get 2 bands, to track our health and fitness, because we're trying to get serious about it, it's $400. So I'm like, okay, I model Ella twice. and I have
And there
enough
you
to
are.
pay for our bands and then some like for fun. And
I
it'll pay for
love
part of
that.
our boost on Airbnb for 4th of July.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I'm done with my degree, I really want to get Charlie like in pretty seriously. So I'm gonna need your help getting his little tiny feet
Everything
in the
Alyssa's
door.
teaching
But
me,
dude,
I can help
Charlie,
teach
he'll
you.
be gold too because it's so hard to get boys.
They need boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
bet
want
Jacqueline
him
would be
to. I just
hustling.
haven't had the time, but 5
Yeah.
more weeks and I can make my little baby a modeling star. So
Ugh, you're so close. So let's kick things off. Today, we're going to talk about PCSing, which means a permanent change of station, what it means in military life.
I love it.
So I am like really in my feels, and it's kind of funny that we're talking about this because everyone is leaving me. Like we're in peak PCS season. We
I
just had
know.
like our last Sunday dinner with our neighbors, and like I am so sad because all of like Tori and I are going to be here in a month, like
Just
crying.
looking at each other like
Like,
we're all that we
where are
have.
our friends, right? And for the people who don't know what that means, we're gonna share like what PCSing is, which is permanent change of station. It's whenever we say we move duty stations as military families. And it is probably one of the most stressful parts of military life, but it's also one of the highs of military life at the same time. So we are going to jump in of it. What is, to get started off, one of your most memorable PCS moments? Like good, bad, ugly, that you're like, I will never forget this.
I
Okay,
have one.
honestly,
But
okay,
Alyssa
go
should
then
go
because
first. No, Alyssa should go
Okay.
first because mine's just gonna steer the conversation as soon as I say it.
oh, I can't wait. I don't we moved from Tennessee to Oklahoma and Oklahoma to here. So we haven't moved a ton yet, but I do remember when we moved from Tennessee to Oklahoma. It was my first time, in Tennessee supervising the Packers and everything, and I thought they were doing a fantastic job. Everything looked really good, but our furniture came off of the truck in Oklahoma in pieces. Like pieces, okay?
Like they had taken it apart so far that it was like it was unrecognizable, or it was so broken it was
No.
in pieces.
No, it was so broken.
Oh,
Like so broken. So we made a
Woof,
lot of money off
dog.
of that move actually because they gave us, they reimburse you actual cost and I am me and
yeah, they're
that is
not
a bar
getting
fight I
around
am
any.
also in on. So we got a lot of money and then I just replaced everything through Facebook Marketplace. So we made some money. But it was like in pieces. I was like, how did this happen? Like, what?
So I would say for me, and I still make fun of Travis for this to this day, we were tightwads like when we first were in the military. So we did like Diddy move or like a self move when we moved from Pensacola to San Antonio because we wanted to make the money. We're like, we can do it. We'll make the money. And like the military will pay us to do it. And it's so funny. And I still can vividly like picture Travis doing this to this day. We were closing on our house in Pensacola. And when we were packing up our house, I told Travis we didn't have enough space for everything that was left in the house to go in the back of the truck that we needed to go to U-Haul. And Travis didn't believe me. And it was the morning we're closing on our house in 30 minutes. We have to be downtown Pensacola, sign the papers, everything out of the house. We're not coming back. And we still have a garage full of crap because Travis thought he could get it all to fit in the back of the truck. And I remember him 30 minutes, like we needed to be leaving our house, running across the street, carrying trim. Like we lived in a new build. So they left a bunch of like trim when we moved into our house, like nice construction grade trim. And Travis was doing woodworking and he's carrying all of these huge pieces of trim that are as big as he is running across the street. And you can watch him on the camera just throwing it in our neighbor's driveway, all of the crap. Just so we
my
can get
gosh.
out of the house to go sign our papers. And I remember looking at him after we signed the papers and we went to the U-Haul to get a trailer. And I was like, man, would have been nice if we had a U-Haul to start with, huh? And he's like, shut up, Dave.
Oh my gosh. That's
It
hilarious.
was so good. You don't realize how much crap you have until you PCS every couple of years.
That
Dude,
is so
literally,
fat.
like those movers are so worth it to me. I know we could make
Yeah.
we did do a partial Diddy from Clarksville to Oklahoma. And we just brought some of our stuff. And we made some money off of that, I think. But like they
Nice.
packed the vast majority of our stuff and it was great.
Yeah.
Okay, you
Okay,
have
you
to
guys ready
excuse
for
my
mine?
sniffling because of my cold. Yes, I'm so ready.
Okay. And I might have already told you this, maybe not.
Get tissue.
I don't talk about it that much because it happened a long time ago, but it was a pretty significant event at the time. All of our stuff caught on fire in the back of our moving truck when we moved from Virginia to Arizona.
You're lying.
Swear to God, dude. It was so terrible. Like, I mean, I could talk about it for a really long time, but like,
That's
bottom line up
crazy.
front, like, it was awful. 12 out of 10 do not recommend working. The moving company didn't even tell us. I had to like pry the information out of the driver. Like, we were supposed to meet the driver the next day. So David and I drove from Virginia to Arizona, and our moving truck came like maybe a week before, or a few days before we left. So like, we were trying to meet them at our house that we were living in Flagstaff. And so I called the driver like, hey, just want to like double check and see what time you're going to be there in the morning, because we're like, I don't know, maybe like 4-5 hours away at this point. We're
Mm-hmm.
about to be in like Moab, Utah. So we're like, do we push through and we just get there? If he's going to be there early morning, if we get there like 3 a.m., like whatever, we'll just get a couple hours and we'll meet them. Or do we have time to stop and then get up super early and, finish the drive? Well, he's like, yeah, you need to contact your moving coordinator. And I'm like, I just had a feeling. I was like, something bad happened. Either it caught on fire or somebody stole it. Like, there's really just no other options here. Like, why he won't talk to us, what's happening. Literally, it caught on fire like 3 hours away from our house in the back of the truck. There was another
Like,
person's
how does that
shipment.
happen?
So I have literally never been able to get a clear answer. So the fire marshal has all these pictures and stuff of how the fire originated, but it's so burnt and like beyond recognition that they literally don't even know what the item is. I didn't know what the item was either. Like, looking at the pictures, he's like, can you identify this? And I'm like, no, like, I literally don't know what this is. And I mean, there was like the inside of our washing machine was like on fire and like all this stuff. Like, so, but like the actual thing that like created the fire was just like something that they had packed that I guess they shouldn't have packed it. I mean, for context, this was August in Arizona, a very hot part of Arizona where this caught on fire. So it's not uncommon for like tires to catch on fire and stuff like that. I mean, the pavement's probably like 130 degrees. So whatever it was, there was just heat and friction, and it all went up in smoke,
So
literally.
what
Crazy.
happened? Like, did they reimburse you for all of that? Like, what was that like?
Man,
How
we're
did like
really opening old wounds with this, you guys. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
Do you
sorry.
I
have to
mean,
go like item by item? Is that how you do it?
so it's with all of that damage. So actually most of our stuff was smoke damaged and water damaged from like, and it hadn't actually like caught on fire. It was like from the after effects of the fire and of them putting the fire out. But what happens is all of your stuff gets collected by a fire remediation company, and then they inventory it, and basically like they start cataloging your stuff. They go through it. They like see like if it's they try to like get your most important like non-replaceable things like pictures and documents. Like, they go for that stuff first and they try to salvage it.
Wow.
But once you get to a certain point, like, they're like, oh, they consider it a total loss settlement. And so depending on your moving paperwork, it'll show like how many pounds you have and how many dollars per pound they're going to pay you. And then they pay you out that dollar amount when it's a total loss. But I was like fighting and fighting and fighting them, because I was like, listen, like, if we're going to be we were going to use our renter's insurance to like cover over. Cause I mean, I say only, but like when you consider that you're having to replace literally your whole house,
Everything. Your life.
$42,000 is like not a lot of money. So
No.
when you're thinking about like clothes and furniture and appliances and dishes and like literally everything. I mean, there's still some things like David and I are like, wait, do we have that? Or was that like lost in the fire? Like, there's just like random things. I mean, we've made 3 moves since that, or 4 moves since that happened. And there's still like stuff where like, do we have that? And especially, now being in Korea where like half of our stuff's in storage, we're like, we don't even know what we have anymore.
Yeah.
But honestly, fighting with them was the worst part. Like, there's stuff that you're like, obviously like, man, I'd be like really upset to lose this. But like, we didn't have any kids at the time. It was just us and our dog. And we're like, we're safe. We're good. It wasn't a house fire. I mean, there's so many things to be thankful for. It was like, but yeah, that really messed with my anxiety. It took a long time to get over that. I think just like traumatic after effects, that was like my most prepared for move. I was like so organized. I spent like 2 months organizing in preparation to potentially move. And then we got orders like 30 days we're moving. So I was like, all right, cool. I've been prepared for this. Like, I'm ready. Everything was in a Ziploc bag. Everything was organized. It was all, actually so many of my linens were saved because I put them in vacuum seal bags.
Ziploc bag. Oh my gosh, stop.
I was telling Alyssa, I was like, hey, I'm a huge advocate for vacuum seal bags because they literally like were protected from smoke damage when all of our stuff caught on fire. So
Dude, I want to, but I'm like not there yet. Our household goods comes in like 14 days or
2
something.
weeks, yeah.
yeah, the other thing is molds. Like, when you're looking at overseas PCSs, we had a whole crate mold coming back from Germany. And because there was a tiny, I'm talking tiny, like this big of a little sliver in the crate, the whole crate molded. Because, it goes on a boat, it's on the ocean, it's like all this water and stuff
It's
gets
wet.
in there. It was like the kids' car seats, stroller, which like we got paid out for all of it. We got new car seats, we got new stroller, like everything was fine. But it's like kind of annoying to have to go through the process. Now, I will say
I'm just
with
like, what do I want to replace and what do I not want to replace?
Yeah.
And I'll just vacuum seal accordingly.
I think they've gotten better in the last like 5-ish years. Like from the time we had the fire till the time that we were coming home from Germany, I feel like the process for like claims and like what they pay out and stuff has gotten so much better. I feel like I didn't have to fight. We had the money to replace the car seats and the stroller in like 5 days. Like it was like real quick. They were like not messing around with the mold. They were like, this is so serious. I feel like they took the mold more seriously than they took the fire. Like that was really crazy. But
Yeah, that's
there you have
wild.
it. My horror story of all of our stuff catching on fire. So pretty
That
much
is crazy.
like there's like a couple of PCS things that I have in my mind. We've PCS 7 times in David's career. And, coming back from Germany, both of our kids were throwing up on every single flight. They threw up. I was sick before the flight. It was a nightmare. So my like little things now, I was like, well, it didn't catch on fire and the kids aren't just throwing up everywhere. So everything's
oh my
fine.
gosh.
It's fine. You're fine. Everything's fine. You're doing great.
That's right. It's funny how your
Good.
measurement of like what's cool, what's okay, and like what's a success, it just slowly the bar just lowers and lowers and lowers the more you experience.
That is so wild. So this was our first big PCS because we did a self move to San Antonio. We've only truly PCS'd 3 times, but I would consider like 2 real ones. Pensacola to San Antonio to here. And I didn't realize household goods, unaccompanied baggage, like what you could take with you, like was all a thing. Because really before coming overseas, OCONUS is what it's called, we did it ourselves. So it was just like I guess we kind of did a similar version of it. But Alyssa, do you want to like break down the like different types of like baggages and how you even decide? Because I was so overwhelmed. I was so overwhelmed when we did this first move because I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean I don't take it all on the plane with me? What do you mean I show up to another country and only have like suitcases and then I have these 2 other shipments and how do I figure out which one goes in which shipment? I was so overwhelmed. So it would have been so helpful if somebody could have broken that down for me instead of me having to Dr. Google it before we did our PCS here.
Okay, so here, like my big thing that I'm learning is that it's so different every time and you can be a little creative with it. Like, for instance, on the way here, we got orders so late that they said, you can send an accompanied baggage if you want, but it will only get there 2 days before your household goods. And I was like, okay, then I guess we'll just send it all on household goods. But yeah, so unaccompanied baggage is like an express shipment that still takes like 2 months, give or take. Sometimes less, sometimes I think 2 months is the max it can take. I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, it depends on where you're PCSing and like basically how far you're going, I think.
Okay.
They told us it was like 58 days is what household goods would take. Unaccompanied baggage would take. And household goods was like 60 days.
I was going to say, that's usually
baggage,
the household goods amount is 60 days. So for unaccompanied to be 58, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. It could have just been because we were so late. We had all our stuff picked up in March, so that could have contributed to it somehow, but it was like before peak season, so I don't know. But yeah, so on the way here, we only did household goods. And you do get a ton of baggage on the plane. I think commercial airlines will give you 5 bags up to 100 pounds each per person.
So many bags.
We did not use all
People
those bags,
made
but you could.
so many rude comments to us because I did, because I was a novice. I was a novice PCSer. So we maxed
Okay,
out as
listen,
many
you're
bags as I could take.
PCSing across the world. Like,
Dude,
yeah.
I got so many like rude comments from people in the San Antonio airport. And I really just wanted to throat check them and be like, yeah, my active duty service member of a husband is moving our entire family to another country for the next 2 years. And I am pregnant and taking a toddler with me. Do you have anything else you want to say about this is the only stuff I'm going to have for the next 2 weeks or so?
Yeah. Or would you like to help me? Please and thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many bags
Yeah.
did you guys have, Leah?
15.
We each had 2 large suitcases. So I had 6 huge suitcases, plus a carry-on suitcase for all of us, plus checking Declan's car seat, plus checking a stroller. So all together, we had 9 bags, a car seat, and a stroller.
Okay, literally
Dang.
don't feel bad because that was exactly
not a
our
lot at all.
PCS to Germany. We had 1 kid. We had 9 suitcases and a stroller.
Yeah.
And a car.
Okay, but
So
I
the
didn't
car
know.
seat came on the plane with us, but
Yeah,
was-
I
We're
didn't
gonna have a
know
lot
unaccompanied
more
bag.
going back. Yeah.
You think on the plane? Because didn't
But
you drop stuff already?
yeah, but we're staying in Virginia for 3 months,
Oh.
4 months.
Oh, I forgot.
So yeah. But we did just find out. So here's the other flip side of it. So we are PCSing to Arizona. We leave middle of July. But we are making a pit stop in Virginia where all our family is because Ryan is going to be TDY a couple hours south in a different part of Virginia through November, essentially through Thanksgiving. And we are working on buying a house, but it's a VA assumption, which means we get a great interest rate, but also that it takes a little longer. So we are going to stay in Virginia and just hang out there for a few months instead of me trying to learn a new place with both the girls without Ryan. And this way he'll be able to come up on the weekends. Like we'll be able to see him and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So we're sending our household goods literally 3 days before we go into lodging, which is nice because we have all our stuff until we leave essentially. And then I am setting an unaccompanied baggage shipment actually not this coming week, but next week on the 1st. It's going to be literally like, they were like, how many pounds? And I was like, 200, like not a lot.
Mhm.
It's going to be like fall clothes, my KitchenAid, my cheese grater, like just the bare minimum that I need to survive. Because
Now, are you sending
know,
it to Virginia?
yes. So because
nice.
Ryan is TDY, they will send it to Fort Greg Adams.
Okay.
So we just have to pick it up from there. I'm going to still see if I can get them to send it to Northern Virginia because we have an address there. He doesn't have an address at Greg Adams. So I'm like, I could give you an address.
Mhm.
But yeah, just like a few little things so I don't have to haul 86 bags to the airport because we could have 20 bags if we wanted between all of us. But that just feels like too much work for me. Like I don't want to do it.
That's
So, yeah.
really like the thing is like getting it into the airport to check it and then getting it out of the airport to your hotel. Because what a lot of people don't tell you is when you don't know what your situation is going to be. Like you are literally reliant on somebody else. You're reliant on, if there's carts at the airport, if it's a big if.
In
If
DC, you have to
there's
pay like $6 an effing cart. So
like if there's even someone to pick you up. If their
Well,
car
yes, and
is
then
big enough to fit
transportation.
all your crap. It's crazy the amount of trust that you have to like PCS overseas.
Yeah. All that to say though, like generally, and Tori, you've actually done this before, so feel free to jump in. But generally, like you have your household goods, it's like the bulk of your stuff, like your beds, your furniture, like all that kind of stuff. And that is like that shipment can take anywhere from a couple months to like a few months to get where you're going, at least for overseas. And then you've got your unaccompanied baggage, which is kind of like your essentials. Like if I walked into an empty house, this is what I would need to survive for 2, 3, 4 months until my household goods arrived.
Yeah.
So Yeah,
And then
that's
you
Yeah,
what
have
you're
the
but
trying to
stuff you
figure
can
out.
take.
yeah,
Yeah, and
it's like
then
kind
just
of
your
a mind boggle
baggage.
though. Like when you're trying to think about like what's going in my suitcase, what's going in
Is.
unaccompanied, what's going in household goods. And then when you go to Korea, this really threw me because this is our second Oconus, was what's still going into storage. And I'm like, shoot,
A
Yeah.
that's
long-term
like
storage.
4 freaking things that I have to like, when we went to Germany, there was no storage. We got to bring everything. Like there was no issues like of what you can and can't bring. It was just a matter of, what's going to be most essential, what's going in unaccompanied, whatever, whatever. Well, and every scenario is so different. It's like sometimes you can like get in a house like right away and then you have to wait for that stuff. Or you can sit in the hotel for 52 days and it all is ready to deliver to your house the second you move in anyways. So it's just like
Yeah.
and every situation in between, I think.
Mm-hmm.
For here, because
But
Korea is so much apartment living, we just essentially put our entire garage into non-temp storage.
We did
we did
too.
the same. Yeah.
So,
Because
yeah.
we didn't know. Because you don't find out when you. So like so this is
Yeah.
OCONUS, which is overseas military PCSs or permanent change of stations moving, and then you have CONUS, which is stateside. A lot of the times, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. People who PCS CONUS to CONUS, there's not as much on base living when you're stationed at a military base, like in the States. Like I know that there's an option, like in San Antonio, there wasn't really a lot of on-base living, like at all. Like everybody lived off post. In Pensacola, they had some houses like on the base, but again, it wasn't as much. So it's really like an Oconus thing, living on post versus Conus is not as much. And so the long-term storage, like when we moved overseas, and anybody who moves overseas, you don't necessarily know exactly where you're going to be. Like, are you going to
Mm.
be on base? Are you going to be off base? What's the living situation like? You can ask, but here in Korea, it's like, okay, you have 2 different living situations. Alyssa's on post and she's in apartment style living towers. And then Tori and I both have houses, but like the way our houses are set up or the space we have in them is different. So you don't know until you get there what exactly you will have. And the hard thing is with some places is it's like, so if we had all of this garage stuff when we got here, but we were in the towers, it's like,
Where are you going to
what
put
are you
it?
going to do? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pay or schedule another shipment for them to store it here or send it back or another headache. So you just like, you don't know. And
You
so let's talk
do
about,
you
you
do get a
do
storage unit in the towers. It's
I didn't know
probably
that.
That's super nice.
I'm trying to think, it's probably like a 10 by 10 storage unit.
Okay.
At least
That's
ours
pretty
is.
decent.
They all seem to be not the same size. Or
Okay.
maybe they're just
That's so
different shapes so they
odd.
don't look the same size, but I feel like ours is big compared to some I've seen. Ours I would say is probably 10 by 10ish.
Okay.
Maybe 8 by
That's
8.
good to know. So I wonder
So
if it's like that
Yeah.
in other places.
one clarification I will make
Yeah.
about the CONUS housing situation is we've lived on post at 3 CONUS duty stations, and usually there is housing available if you like are on a proper installation. Now we've only ever lived on Army bases, so I can't speak for other branches, but
I'm going to say because we're Navy, so maybe that's why it's a little bit different.
yeah, usually they're owned by private companies. Like each base is owned by like a private company, like Mountain Community Homes or, whatever the name is. And then they are the ones who run the different neighborhoods on post. And usually, it's all split up by rank and, there's different neighborhoods like for only like the super top people, or then you have like the field grade neighborhoods, the younger junior officers, and then it's like it's all split between
Mhm.
all these different areas. And then usually there's like at least one like mixed neighborhood. That's like been my experience of like we've lived on post at Drum. We've lived in Belvoir, although that wasn't our duty station. That's kind of the cool thing about Virginia is even when you're like in the DC area, you can kind of you have the opportunity to live on any post. Now, the post David was assigned to was teeny weeny, and there was like almost
Where
no
was he?
houses. He was at Joint Base Meyer Henderson Hall, which is where Arlington National Cemetery is. So it's like where the Secretary of the Army lives and like the Chief of Chaplains, like all the super top people. They do have like some houses, like maybe 10 or 15 or some like really small number for people to live that if you aren't like the Army's most important person in the whole world. But like we just knew that just wasn't going to happen. So we lived at Belvoir, but there's so many bases. There's bowling, there's Meade, like there's all these places there to live. But yeah, we've had a pretty good experience living on Post so far overall.
So we've never lived on Post until this duty station. So I knew nothing about it. And honestly, we've had a decent experience living on Post. Like, I think like only and specific to Korea. I'm glad we lived on
Mhm.
Post. We are very much of the mindset like we move somewhere, we buy a house, we rent out that house when we leave. Like, let's build a real estate portfolio over here. Didn't work
Yeah.
out for
Mhm.
us in Oklahoma, but we did it. But I remember when we first got here, I like made a friend and she was like, "Where do you live?" And I was like, "We live in Apache Tower." And she was like, "Oh, you live in the officer housing." And I was like, I mean, I get I is that a thing? Like, we live, I don't know. Ryan is an officer, so I guess sure.
That makes sense.
And then I get like Ryan gets home and I'm like, "Do we live in officer housing?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, have you not noticed that everyone in this place like in uniform is like a captain or a lieutenant or something? And I was
I'm
like,
like, "Dang, I
"No."
don't have any ranks on uniform. What do you mean?"
Like I literally couldn't care less what their rank was. But it was just funny because I had no idea that it was broken up like that. I just figured you went where you went, where they had a house or an apartment for you. And that's
I feel
was
like
just not the
some of
case.
the information that they give you, like about that on the pages here is like very there it so many people will say it's not by rank, it's not by rank. And it's like it is though. Like, I know that here specifically it's very different than like the usual the way that they split
Really?
it, like CONUS. CONUS I feel like is very like E1 to E4, 5 to E7. Like it's like very like I don't know the right word I'm trying to look for right now, but it's like very black and white of like what
Yeah.
rank and what neighborhood and whatever. Here, I know that there are officer towers, obviously, but like some people were like saying before we moved here on like the support page and whatever, it's like there are no rank towers. It's space available only. Like it was just like this thing. And I was like, oh, that's different. Like that's cool, whatever. Like, because I don't care either. Like I couldn't care less if I lived next to an E1 or a freaking E9
6.
cares.
So I do know now how it works. And I think it is caveated by um if like for whatever reason I know they have to keep the towers as filled as they can before they send people off post, so I think that they do make exceptions. But essentially what it is, I don't know about the old towers, but our towers are 2 pods of 3 towers, so 6 towers total. Pod is, I think it's E1 to E6, I think. And then our towers are E7 to O4. And so each of those towers in there, so like it's like the E7 to E9 in one of our, and then our tower is the O1 to O3, and then the next one is O4 to sometimes O5. I think if a lieutenant colonel is in command, I think they go into they have like 506 special
The
general
fancy,
houses.
nice
Yeah,
houses.
they get like actual houses and neighborhoods and garages and all the things that we all would like to have but don't get. So like that's how it is intended, is what I learned after I learned that I even lived in officer housing. I was like, well, oh, so that's how they intend to do it here at least. And then the other pod of towers, the other 6 towers that are newer, are the same as that, or the same as ours format wise at least.
One of the things I can appreciate about them doing that is like you don't think about it in the moment, but like how awkward it would be to end up living next door to your boss, like
Ooh,
Ryan's
that
boss
part.
Yeah.
or somebody who
Mhm.
he's boss, because Travis's boss lives in our neighborhood, literally down the street, because we live off post, so it's like not a thing here. And so
Yeah.
that's like something that we literally have to navigate, like when we are hanging out at a neighbor's house or having like neighborhood get-togethers, like Travis's boss just shows up on the weekends. Like, we see him after hours, and I'm like,
Yeah,
because
that's
I'm
so
like,
fair.
this is so uncomfortable that I'm like, okay, I can
Yeah.
appreciate like when once you've gotten into that situation, I can appreciate the division of the ranks for that reason, which I don't think people really see it like that until you're in that situation, right? Because like they're like, oh, well, people just want to put me here because of the rank or whatever. But I'm like, no, it's like really uncomfortable for all parties involved when you end up accidentally living near somebody who you're supposed to be like in command of or below or whatever. And then you
Mhm.
can't truly be like relaxed
Yourself.
at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
your home is supposed to be your safe place where you can just relax. And so they divide it up like that. So that way you can just relax because you're only around other people potentially who are within your same level
That's
because the
so fair.
military is
Yeah.
big on the not fraternizing and the respecting the levels and respecting the ranks and those things. So like I can appreciate that now because we're in that situation and I'm like we were like counting down the time to get out of this neighborhood because of just how like awkward it is and the strain that it puts on. You know, like every neighbor we literally went to a neighbor's birthday party for one of their kids the other day and Travis's boss was there. And it's just like this is so uncomfortable.
I
Yeah.
did
But
think about that at first when I found out it was like segregated, for lack of a better word. And I was like, that's just rude. Like, who cares? Anyone should be able to live wherever they want. But then, like, it is a good point. Like, okay, what if Ryan's boss did live next to us? What if one of like Ryan's privates lived next to us and, like,
even just the
we
same
heard them
tower, you know, and
fighting
seeing them on the
all
elevator.
night long, or yeah, or
Yeah.
like yeah, it's just not comfortable. And like you're like, I don't know, I feel like I would always be like, okay, are we being good neighbors because like now we have to be a good example, or are we
Yeah.
being good neighbors because we need his
Somebody's
boss to
always
like
watching
us?
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ryan's boss does live in the tower next to us, but it's not that much overlap and he's cool, so it's fine. But once I was going, I have a friend in the other towers and I went over to her house for a movie night, like in my jammies, because why wouldn't I? Except I get on the elevator, like no bra, in my snowflake pajamas, and they're all in the elevator. And I was like, hey guys, how's it going? And they were
So
cool. It was fine. I got home and I told her, and I was like, guess who I saw in the elevator? And he goes, no.
In your snowflake pajamas. I love it.
Yeah, it was great. I
that's
had a coat
so
on,
funny.
thankfully. So the whole no bra situation wasn't like excessive.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's a
What
thing.
is your advice for people deciding whether or not to send their cars when they're going from one duty station to another?
That's so individual, but I'd say
Uh-huh.
overall do it because
Send them or buy new ones?
send them or
Yeah.
do one and one. I think that's a pretty
Mhm.
common thing. Like, because you get, military entitlements, you get one car that they'll ship for you, like for free.
Mhm.
And then you can either choose to pay to ship your other car, because most people presumably have two cars, or you can buy another one. And we've done that both times, both in Germany and here. And we've actually bought two cars here because our first one kicked the bucket. But I'd say here in Korea, it's if you're like not liking the cars you're driving, you want to get rid of your car payment, you just want like whatever. I'd say here in Korea specifically, you could totally ditch and buy cars here just to live car payment free for a few years.
That's what we've done.
I'd say Germany is a lot harder to find like cars that aren't going to leave you stranded in 30 days,
Mm.
60 days, whatever, that I feel like you have to spend probably 70, 9, $10,000 to get like a reliable family car in Germany. That was just our experience, and we did have to do that because I just wasn't willing to drive like a beater that was going to leave us stranded. I don't care what my car looks like, not really. But like there was so many like horror stories of people like buying cars and then the transmission is like gone or their car just like quits on them. Like that was just like a common thing when we lived in Germany. So I wish for me personally, I had a Kia Sorento before we left for Germany. And I wish I would have just paid to ship it because I love my car and we would have spent so much less money like just shipping the car than we did on buying another car. And then it's a hassle to have to sell it and like figure out
Yeah.
titles and stuff when you're overseas. Like it's just like a lot to buy and sell American cars
Mhm.
or German cars actually. But yeah, Korea
Yeah.
specifically, I'd say it's a lot easier to ditch and switch your
Which that's
cars
what we
here.
did. We ditched
Yeah.
both of our cars in the States and even our truck, our Dodge Ram Laramie. We loved it. Oh, it was such a beautiful trip.
Laramie, I love it.
I loved it so much. But we sold it because everyone said Korea was like small spaces, small roads. You don't want to drive a big vehicle here. And it was too nice of
Yeah.
a truck to let it get dinged up. And we weren't going to store it when we had a truck payment. So we just sold it. But we bought both of our vehicles here. Total of 2 brand new vehicles, like $6,000. Not brand new vehicles, like used vehicles, $6,000.
New to you. Yeah.
New to me, yeah, whatever, but we don't have any payments now and insurance went down, and so we will be having to do the turnaround and selling both of them before we go back because it's Korean specs, like, we don't wanna keep them. It's been good for, like, humbling me and, like, getting used to driving a beater, right? So it's like, when we get back to the States, I don't feel like I need to buy a brand new car. Like, I could buy a used, like, States car and be like, "Ooh, this is bougie. This is way nicer than my
Yeah.
2007 Kia Sorento that I'm driving right now."
So we shipped one and bought one. And I have mixed feelings on that. So for us, we shipped my Honda CRV, and it's like a 22, a hybrid. I adore this car. I love it. We're actually going to sell it because it won't fit 3 kids and we want more than 2. But I've loved having it because we model, or the girls model. Although Ryan and I have dabbled.
Yeah.
But so I'm driving the Soul for a while, like minimum once a week. I was driving the Soul. Last week I drove 4 times. And so having like my adaptive cruise control driving the Soul and like just like, Android Auto, just the easy things like that has been so nice. Whenever I have to drive our beater Carnival that we got here, whenever I have to drive that up there, it's the most annoying thing ever. I hate it so much. I'm like, why do I have to press the gas the entire time? And
It
so
sucks.
I
miss cruise control, guys. I miss cruise control so bad.
Yes. And like adaptive cruise control where I just set it and I'm like, just keep me behind the other car, please.
I've never been
That
that
is
bougie.
so nice.
Okay,
That's
so
bougie.
that's the
so
issue
never
with
been
it
that
is once
bougie.
you have
Me
it,
neither.
you'll never go back. But like starting like 2018, 2019, I think, at least with Honda, like it's standard. Like you can
Oh,
even
that's
get a
nice.
used car with it now.
That is
Yeah.
nice. I don't think our truck had it, but I feel like trucks are usually a little bit more like
Yeah.
basic
I
with the
know
tech stuff.
Ryan had a 2020 F-150 and it didn't have it and I hated it, but it was like the lowest trim. But we sold that before we left. And we were going to try and do one car. We were doing pretty great with one car, but we had KK here and like I think at one point we had 3 family members visiting and we just couldn't fit everyone in my car. And more people, like so many people came to visit us. So it was great, but it just didn't make sense to just have one car. And also my one car didn't fit us. So that's why we ended up getting the Carnival. So we'll actually sell both the Carnival and the CRV before we leave here though, because again, it takes like 60 days to ship your car and we're planning on selling the CRV anyways. So instead of shipping it, selling it stateside, having to wait 60 days for that cash, we're just going to sell it here before we leave.
Yeah.
Nice.
Another thing that I wish I had known was the MAS here, which is Military Auto Source, which is how you can get a US spec car here, unless you like just get lucky and someone's selling something you want. They're extremely limited. For a minivan, they only sell the Chrysler Pacifica, which like, just please don't buy that car. Oh my God, please don't buy that car. Like, oh gosh, you could not pay me to drive a Chrysler Pacifica, okay? Because I would end up paying you because it sucks that bad. Anyways, that's the only minivan option. They only have Ford, Jeep, Chrysler, but the Chrysler only makes Pacifica right now. Ford and Jeep, is that it? I think
Dodge.
I think
My neighbor bought a Challenger.
Oh, okay.
Really? Okay, they might have Dodge.
I don't think I've
but
seen
it's just
any
very limited.
Toyotas.
No, so they don't have Toyota. They don't have Honda because they can't get the best deal for us here. You know what's the best? You know what's a better deal? Having an option. Like, hello, but whatever. Nope, they don't sell Kia or Hyundai. Yeah, I guess it's probably some non-compete clause or something. I don't know.
Probably.
But yeah, so there's no options. So if you're coming here and you're not sure what you want to do with your cars, think ahead a little bit. Where do you want to be while you're in Korea? You know, do you have a Honda CR-V and kind of want to have a 3rd kid? Well, at least my generation of the CR-V doesn't do 3 across, so I'm effed. I don't want to have another kid
Guys,
here.
I have to tell you something. This is totally unrelated, but I just
Are you pregnant?
No. My neighbor just texted me, y'all, check your kids' buttholes to see if they need wiping. So it was a human feces turd under my tape, and it was She said,
gosh.
guess the boys were feeling very independent.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my gosh.
I have a
So
whole other
sorry.
thing about
I
buttholes, but we'll get to that.
just saw that, and I was like, I can't like keep smiling and laughing internally at this without sharing. That was totally my kid, dude, because he poops under the table.
He's such an obscure
Actually,
pooper.
talk about it. It's fine. Anywho, I'm dead. That's so funny. I'm so sorry, Alyssa. I did not mean to
No,
cut you
you're
off.
good. You're good.
That's
That was
freaky.
pretty much all I had to say about it. Just think ahead and, don't just buy a new car to buy a new car, but like, are you not sure you want like your current car will fit you for 2 years? Cause like that's a real thing. Like,
Yeah.
and you can always sell a car and get a beater here or that kind of thing. You can buy a new Korean spec car if you want. You're just going to
Yeah.
lose a ton of cash on it because,
Mhm.
of depreciation and you cannot, so you have to, with Korean spec cars, you have to like pay a crap ton of money and go through a crap ton of red tape to even ship it back to the US because Korean cars, shockingly, don't meet US standards, which is why the air quality here gives you asthma and not in the US. But it's fine. We're
It's
fine.
fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
But yeah,
I
so
think
that
that's
would be
super
my
sound
big thing.
advice.
Like, think about it.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
think it's important to because, like in Germany, I mean, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm certain they sold Toyotas there. So I think it's different.
I
Like their
know they
stocks
sold
are
Hondas
totally
in
different.
Germany
Yeah. So
because
I
my
would,
friend got hers.
because some people might be like, oh, I'll just wait till I can buy one from Military Auto Source. But like, check and make sure that they're selling the
Yeah.
car that you want to buy.
Yeah.
Um,
I think even Japan sells. It's just that Korea sucks.
God, I would
just the
hope
whole
that Japan
situation.
would sell a Toyota. It's like their bread and butter.
Well, you would think
Well,
that
you can
Korea
buy like
MAS would sell
Kias.
Kias and Hyundais.
You
That's
can
so
buy.
funny.
I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. You can buy like a
Yeah.
brand new Kia Carnival in Korea, but it's Korean spec, not.
Yeah.
Their seats
So you
aren't
just
going to
can't
have
take it back to
car
the
seat
States.
tethers. Ask me how I know.
We have to use the seatbelt for our car. We don't have car seat tethers or anchors. We have to do the old fashioned seatbelt.
So not the latch, but like for the forward facing. So you guys aren't in the forward face yet.
There's like a tether
Forward
anchor
face
that goes
space.
around the back.
Yeah, there's like a back
Ours doesn't
anchor.
have that.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Dang.
be
So stay rear facing,
I
essentially.
was planning
which
on
shouldn't
it
be
anyways
difficult.
until he's
Yeah.
at least 4 was what my plan was.
So I was forced to forward face Johnny here. I say forced, but like
Same.
the rear face would not fit in my first Korean car that I had. So I had to forward face him. Although I had a 2007, I had a Daewoo Windstorm. Yeah.
That's Scandi. That's a nice car.
It was not really that nice of a car, but I love saying that I can drive a Daewoo because I feel like because I had drove a German car when we lived in Germany. I drove a Korean car when we lived here. I just felt like it's like cool. But also I think like I've heard people in the States talk about Daewoos because you won't find a Daewoo in the US. And they're like, oh, like a crappy little Daewoo. Like, yeah, I've drove my crappy little Daewoo. I totally did it. It was a 2007 and it did have the back tethers, but it was such a like short, like back seat that I couldn't rear face in it. And I could not, for the life of me, I tried so hard to fit 3 across in that car. And then it ended up kicking the bucket anyways. And then we
Problem
replaced it
solved.
with a Santa Fe, and that has 3 tethers in the back. So although Charlie won't be rear facing the entire time, or he won't be forward face the whole time we live here. So don't have to worry about
Our
him.
Carnival has tethers on the 2 captain's chairs in the second row, but nowhere else.
Yeah,
And
that was my issue because I was trying to buy a van for when we had family to come visit. But with having the 3rd kid, it didn't make sense for me to put my rear facing baby all the way in the back. Like I wasn't going to do it.
And the middle seat isn't really, I don't think you can safely put a car seat in the middle seat of the Carnivals. At least not
So
the
annoying.
2010 we have. I would personally not do it.
Yeah,
I'm sure you
I wouldn't
could
either.
do it, but I would not. So
I asked a couple of people, I was like, hey, how are you fitting 3 across in like your cars? Because I knew someone that had the same car as I did at the time, and she had 3 across in her car, and I was like, how are you doing this? Like she's like, oh yeah, I'm just like kind of jerry rigged it a little bit, like not safe. And I understand. We're in Korea. They're not like real crazy about the car seat laws and stuff here. In fact, I've seen kids just like
Or
not
just
even in
driving
car
laws
seats.
in general.
I was
Yeah,
just about to
but
say,
because they're because they're such psychopaths on the road,
psycho.
literal psychos, like
Like, that's a nice way to put
um
it.
it is the nicest thing I can say.
Yeah.
I feel like I felt even more like crazy about the car seat safety because I'm like the chances and likelihood of us getting in an accident, so far we haven't been in one. Knock on all the wood, put all the prayers up. Like, please God, don't let us get into a car accident. But the likelihood and like of possibility, I feel like is just like astronomical here because of the way that they drive, and it's like so I feel even more like I wouldn't chance it here. I wouldn't chance it. I wouldn't want to chance it anywhere, but I'd chance it in Germany before I'd chance it here.
Well, I feel like also people just don't really know about car seat safety. Like, I've just in the last year been learning about all of that kind of stuff. Shout out Car Mom. And like the amount of that like I just never even like thought of. Like, barely knew that forward facing like the tether anchor existed. When we had Reagan, we had her I anchor borrowed in our CRV to put her in the middle because everyone was like, it's the safest to have your kid in the middle. Well, you can't tether, you can't anchor borrow in the CRV.
Right.
But I did it because I just didn't know. So
I know a lot of
feel
people
like,
use latch and the seat belt. This is
yeah,
turning into a
because
car
it's
seat safety
safer,
episode.
but it's
I'm just
not.
kidding.
And then someone else just recently was like, I don't want to use the seatbelt because the latch is safer. I was like, actually, I'm pretty sure the seatbelt is the safest way to do it because latch you can only even do up to 40 pounds usually, anyways. And then what was the other thing that I really just did not know about?
There's so much, and
There's so many
it's
things.
not universal.
Oh, the Pacifica. The Pacifica is the most
The Pacifica.
unfriendly, and it's so like most car seats you cannot safely forward face in the third row of the Pacifica because the
Really?
headrests are so jacked up. But like it's the kind of thing like when you're installing a car seat, you're supposed to read the car manual and the car seat manual. But like who knows that?
Right.
Like
Yeah, that is not
yeah.
widely known information because it is not universal. Every car seat is different. Every car manual is different. Every car functions different. We rented a Volvo once, and they're like one of like some of the safest cars in the world, but they are terrible for car seats unless you have very specific car seats because the headrests are completely like stationary. They don't move at all. And
So
so
frustrating.
it's like crazy, these different things that you're like, what the friggin' heck? But it's also stuff that you learn when you're PCSing Oconus, when you're renting vehicles because your car is on the ocean somewhere and, you're just waiting forever for it.
So you go.
Yeah.
Read your car seat manuals, read your car manuals, or just Google it.
Yeah.
You can ask AI.
Google will
That's
have
my
the car
favorite
seat
way to get an
manual and you can
answer.
find it. So there you go. Yeah.
So let's talk about like practical stuff. So like differences for us being in Korea with our PCS. Like here, it's important to have air purifiers. It's important to have dehumidifiers. The plugs for us off post living and or just when you go visit places are different than the US plugs.
Yep.
It's what 220 instead of like
volt,
instead of
110.
whatever the state's 110 is. So what is like one piece of equipment or a hack or something you wish you would have known sooner for an Oconus move? Like for me, something I wish I would have like thought of in advance was going ahead and ordering, well, two things. Ordering converters like for my actual plugs, but looking at the things that I have to ensure if it can go both ways. So like for example, I can look at this plug I have right here, this cube, and it'll tell me input is 100 to 240. And so it'll go both ways. But finding out I've had a lot of stuff that won't go both ways, so I can't convert and using my off post Korean. So then I have to like just not use it while I'm here. Like I wish I would have looked
Do you
at
have a
those
transformer?
things. What's a transformer?
Girl, I'm
Where it
about
has
to blow
some
your
American
mind.
plugs? Like where it has
So
some American plugs?
No, so the transformer, like let's say you have a 110 appliance, like a US plug that you like something you desperately want to use or just something you like and whatever, but it's not convertible, you can buy a transformer and they sell them at the PX and like Daiso and Panda Pam. But
That's something I need.
it'll change the voltage for you.
It's like a
So
step
you can,
down converter.
yeah,
Do you
or
plug
on the
it
opposite.
into the
So you plug it into the Korean outlet and then you plug your American plug into the transformer. I'll send you a picture. I have a couple of them. And then it converts the voltage for you.
and it
So
doesn't
yeah.
cause it to burn up because we did buy something once to do that, like to plug it in, and we
So
plugged in an air purifier and it literally started smoking.
So you have to make sure that you have to look at the wattage of your appliance and then like what the transformer can handle. Like I have one specifically for my deep freezer and it's like,
Is
so
the
I check,
wattage
you
the
like look
hertz?
at the little label on your appliance and like look and see like what the wattage is. And then you make sure you buy a transformer that can handle that amount of wattage.
Is the wattage the output?
I don't know. I think every label is going to be different, but
It should say something W, a number W.
the only like thing I have right here is my essential oil diffuser. Let me look at it. Actually, it's going to be on the plug, which is plugged into the wall, so I'm not even going to be able to see it.
It's on the
But
plug.
also,
Yeah, I'm
I know
looking
my
at
diffuser is dual, so
Yeah.
because this is our second
7.5
overseas.
watts. Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so when you buy a transformer, so there's going to be two. There's going to be a step up transformer and a step down. And I totally bought the wrong one at first, but go to Panda Pam. Panda Pams are the cheapest and they
Okay.
are the best.
That's huge. That's good to know.
So
Panda Pam is right outside the gate, so you could walk there.
Which gate?
Millet, like the walking gate,
Okay.
the
Okay.
driving gate by the walk.
the one that I bought mine at
I
is the one
agree.
right next to Enmart.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good to know. So that's a hack then I wish I would have known
Yeah.
sooner or to prepare for is to like
Transformers
go ahead
for
and look at
your
those things.
stuff. I will say like some of the houses have both. Like our Korean house has American plugs in it. I think whoever built this house built it to be able to rent to Americans. So, and what I found out in Germany was that they literally put a transformer in the outlet and you're plugging into a transformer in the outlet because we had an outlet kind of go bad when we lived in Germany and it was like something weird was happening with it and the electrician who came to fix it told me that. So that's how I know. But I think so. Just fun fact, if you have German appliances that you love and you're moving to Korea, you can plug them in here in the Korean plugs because they're the same voltage and they fit in the plugs. But yeah, I'd say, a lot of people will like ditch their 110 stuff and buy 220. And, if you're in a situation where you don't have any American plugs or you have to have a transformer for everything, that might be more practical for you. But I guess we've been really fortunate to where we've had the ability to do both. And I saved some of my German appliances, like my kettle is a 220 and my Alexa is a 220 also because I bought my Alexa in Germany. But that specifically is dual, so I was able to use that stateside. I just had to get the opposite, the 220 to 110 plug. But yeah, I think I'd say like you're gonna have the opportunity to buy a transformer. Like if you are overseas, like you will be able to buy one. So just take all your stuff and figure it out when you get there. That's my biggest advice. Like I would not suggest like offloading your stuff until you know where you're gonna live and what your capabilities are. And I don't care what the Facebook pages say, don't do it. I feel like
that transformer is clutch because we have both in our house, but I have no American plugs in my bathroom. So for blow drying my hair and like doing any hair stuff, like I have little humans. So like I don't want to put it like next to the bed. I would rather be in the bathroom, like up on the sink.
Yeah.
And so like I've just been having to try to like go around the house to do it to find an American plug somewhere. So the transformer is like genius.
The thing
The
that I did,
transformer is
because I
genius.
don't blow dry my I don't buy a lot of, or I don't blow dry my hair very often, but when we were traveling a lot, when we lived in Germany, I have one of those like dry brushes that I love. I feel like it makes my hair just like immaculately shiny. Like it is just like so amazing. I have a 110 and a 221 because I traveled so much that like it made sense to have a 220. So I actually plug that into my bathroom because I don't have any 110s in my bathroom either. So I guess in that instance, it might be worth it to buy well, especially here in Korea because they're wet baths. I don't know that I would want to plug a transformer into my bathroom. I feel like that'd be really sketchy how wet it is.
Mhm.
I don't know. Do you have a is yours a wet
Yeah,
bath?
where it's all
Ours on
tile and
base
you
are
just
Yeah.
not. Well, ours on base are like 50-50. Like in the master bedroom, we have the toilet and the tub in a separate, like, it's like a toilet closet but for the toilet and the tub. But
Mm.
in the girls' bathroom, our second bathroom, it's just all in one area.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
ours
would
is wet
say,
bath.
yeah. I would say like a big thing. We did leave some 110 things and we left like we didn't bring lamps and stuff like that. Mostly because I didn't have any that I cared about. I think we just got rid of them. But you get loaner furniture here, which you don't like CONUS, you don't get that. But here you get loaner furniture and you can have anything from like a fully furnished house to just a couple things. Our nightstands, our like I don't know, a credenza, like china cabinet type situation, our dressers, and like just random furniture like that, and lamps. Like it's all loaner furniture. So we just brought because we did have, I think we had half of our weight allowance to come here. So turns out we were like way under. But I'm like, I don't know, what is 7,000 pounds? Like what?
You don't
So
realize how heavy
subjective.
stuff is. Yeah.
Like, yeah. So like we brought our couch and my dining table and like chairs and that kind of thing. But because everything was damaged in Oklahoma and we were only there for 6 months, I just didn't really save a lot of it. So, or I didn't rebuy a lot of it. I'm sorry. So we just use the loaner furniture here and it just doesn't really, I don't know. I feel like it's not like I have my couch, but I don't really
Yeah.
care that I don't have my dresser. That just doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
And we brought our beds because the Korean mattresses suck unless you like
Yeah,
sleeping
they
on
So
do.
bad.
like a cardboard
Extra
floor.
firm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like not even firm. It's just like no cushion, nothing. So
Okay, that's actually a good
do
tip.
not
I feel
recommend.
like if you need to replace your mattresses or like something like that, unless you buy from the PX, which has a really limited stock, even their online stock is super limited. Ask me how I know. I was just looking at this stuff. You need to buy it in the US. Getting US, and this goes for Germany too, because all places have different size beds. And so like even
Yes.
when you're like shopping at, places that are more universal, like IKEA or something like that, they're only going to sell like Korean IKEA is going to sell Korean sized bedding and Korean sized whatever, German IKEA is selling German sized whatever. So like that's just something to be like, I think something Alyssa said earlier could apply to so many things, like plan ahead. Think about where you're going to be in 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, because, we were only planning on being here for 2 years. And by the, when it's all said and done, it'll probably be more like 3. So, you don't know exactly like what your situation's going to be. So definitely planning ahead and thinking about like big things, you
Yeah.
could probably get a couch. Like that's probably,
Yeah.
I feel like the couch selection for overseas is probably fine. Like,
Yeah.
but like beds, cars, like big purchases like that are
Mhm.
American specific, like definitely be thinking about that stuff years ahead before
Yeah.
you move overseas.
Yeah. I
Or
think that's
just
a good
budget for
point.
the fact that you're going to spend a little more to maybe not have something that you necessarily want. Like the PX
Yeah.
has mattresses, American size
Yeah.
mattresses, but do you want to pay PX prices? Really? Do you? Not
But they
here,
do
Or
I
Amazon
don't.
matching. They do
True.
Amazon
They
They
will
do,
do
yeah.
Amazon matching, but you can't always get everything on Amazon.
Yeah. And you can't always get everything at the
Touche.
PX. Like they'll
Yeah.
have like their selection of things is like, I feel like they have like
Minimal.
86 different couches you can buy, but they've got like, like 8 mattresses. And you're like, what the heck?
Yeah. Their school
And
supply
Yeah.
section is like this big.
yeah,
Nothing. It's non-existent.
Yeah.
but they've got
They
like
don't even have
1,800
planners.
racks of clothes.
Yeah.
It's
Which,
so
to be fair, you
embarrassing.
want to go to Daiso for school supplies anyways.
So true.
Yeah. Good facts. Well, something that's interesting that you say about that is like, so one thing that I wasn't prepared for or I didn't have my head wrapped around when we moved here was like shipping. Like, do we have to pay for international shipping for things? Do we like state things? Like, how does that work? And so we figured out, as you guys did, the APO shipping. So like if you're going to be stationed at Oconus, there are still United States post offices on every single military base. And you get an APO box and people can still send you stuff with regular US shipping prices to your APO box. So like we can still get Amazon sent to us here, but it just doesn't come as fast. The biggest like downside is there are some companies more than you realize who don't ship things APO. And so then there are certain things where like you lose my business because you won't ship APO. I don't understand why. Like you don't pay anymore. But that was like a good hack, is knowing the APO shipping and like understanding that now. But I feel like when I explain it to people, people are like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Because
you
like
have
you
to
live in
like understand it for you and for everyone else. And then you have
Yeah.
to like walk them through it. Big tip, pirate ship. Pirate ship will work with you on APO and they give you like better
pirate ship.
deals than USPS. Yeah. So I do a lot of buy sell trade because I like expensive things and I don't have the budget for expensive things. So I do a lot of buy sell trade and I use pirate ship to make my labels and they'll do USPS labels. And I usually get, it's like 50 cents off a label, but that adds up.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's
sometimes
more,
it's
sometimes
even
it's
more.
less. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Yeah.
I think the smallest savings that I've seen are in the flat rate boxes. It's still a savings and it's still worth it. And
Yeah.
it gives you a built-in customs form, which is super nice.
Yeah.
Like when you're
And no
doing
matter, go ahead. Sorry.
well, I was just going to say, like with the smaller packages, I've literally paid half of what I would have paid on USPS.
Yeah. I think, well, like also, if you pay for priority versus ground, it's not getting here any faster. Although I will say there's two ways your packages can get to us, or you can get it to you. It can take the plane, and that's 10 to 14 days, give or take, from the time it ships. Sometimes longer, sometimes less. It just kind of depends, and it's a little bit of a roll of the dice. But it's like 10 to 14 days if it takes the plane. The other thing it can do is go through California, and it'll take the boat. And the boat is 5 weeks from
Long time.
minimum from the
At
time
least, yeah.
it leaves that port in usually San Francisco. So that sucks. And a way, if you have something that you 100% need, if you pay for priority shipping, it will always take the plane.
Yeah. Well, I've seen
So
like when I send stuff like back and forth with my mom, if we send priority, it gets there in literally 7 days. I sent my dad's Father's Day present. It got there in 6. I was just like, what is happening right now?
let's go.
But like my
Oh my gosh,
mom-in-law
did he
sent
like it?
us, he loved it. Yeah.
Yes.
I got him this ridiculous blanket that had mine and my siblings' faces.
Oh my gosh, stop. That's so cute.
Yeah, it was like, I feel like my dad, you can't get him anything because he has everything and whatever he wants, he just buys for himself. So I've like taken to just giving him gag gifts for like every year, like since I don't know, like I got him this mug, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. It said, "Dad, you've always been like a father to me" on it. And like I wrote on his card, like, "You're the best dad I've ever had," like that sort of stuff. Because I'm like, I gotta make him laugh at this point because I can't really give him anything. But yeah, he loved the
Yeah,
blanket.
because like an adult who like they buy what they want because you're an adult,
Exactly.
right? So what is one of your favorite resources that you guys have found to help you with PCSing? Like that has helped you keep your sanity during a move? CONUS, OCONUS, like what is your go-to resource that helps you plan out what you're doing?
Someone who's done it before. Like the amount of questions I've asked Tori about going back to the States, like you can find a lot of information online and it is helpful, but you also have to sift through so much and it's never
That's
like,
true.
it's never creative, And like, I'm going to be without myself for like months. I need to be creative. Like, what did you do and did it work? They might be saying this is a way you can do it online, but like, does it work? Is it good? Like, or is it just the army saying this is the way to do it? Because let's be honest, if the army is telling me to do it, I probably don't want to do it that way.
Yeah.
So true.
Ain't that
like,
the truth?
just rather
That's like
not.
the teenagers in us.
Yeah. Find someone who's done it, even if it's like this awkward message of like, hey, we haven't talked since we were at like that duty station like 3 years ago, but I know you live in Korea and here are my questions. And the person will be like,
100%.
dude, they'll either be like, someone did this for me, or I wish someone did this for me, so let me do this for you.
Yes, that's such an awesome part about military community because I feel like you know, even like you hardly know someone and they're going to be so willing to do that for you.
Literally, Katie Jackson, my first week here, picked me
I
up from
freaking
lodging and drove
love
me
Katie
around.
Jackson.
She's so
She's like,
Oh,
sweet.
she's
yeah, let
so
me pick you up with my
sweet.
kids. You can bring Declan. Let me show you the neighborhood before you go look at houses with the realtor. So you know, like the area around base. And I was like, thank you, because this is so overwhelming.
My gosh, what a
So
blessing.
stressful.
It was so helpful.
She's amazing.
So amazing. Yeah,
So
I
I
really
think
like the Facebook groups. I don't know. I'm a
Yeah.
lame, but when we were PCSing here, that was what I did was I like got into the Facebook groups and searched all the
Same.
questions I had
Yeah.
first.
it's a great resource. I'd say take it with a grain of salt though. Like because I
Mm.
feel like I got so much bad advice when we were going to Germany, not so much here. Here I feel like I was pretty prepared. Like I ordered the air purifiers in advance, you know, like I was like pretty like
Mhm.
ready to come here.
Yeah.
But going to Germany, I got so much bad advice from the pages and I was like, "Oh man, I would have made some different decisions." But
Yeah.
that's kind of like y- you know, again, just grain of salt sort of stuff. Like, or I'd say the majority of the time you're going to find great information, or at least
Yeah.
like you're going to find something that's of value.
Well, yeah, and like read the room too on the people commenting, you know?
Yeah.
You can kind of tell based on like what they're writing, how they're writing it, or like even
hmm
searching their name. You're like, okay, you just hate
You're
here.
a troll.
Or
Yeah.
that maybe didn't need to be asked. So I don't know if you're the most reliable source.
So
Yeah.
fair.
Respectfully.
So
Mhm.
one specific Facebook group that I really love that's actually run by like legitimate people is PCS Like a Pro, Your Smooth Move.
Yeah.
It's like run by people who are like actually like working with like policymakers in Washington. Like they know like the girl who's like the admin in the group, her name is Megan, and she is like a walking PCS encyclopedia. Like she knows all the doctrine, all of like so like and then you get you know, like with any Facebook group, you're going to have to sift through a lot of stuff. But like if you have questions about entitlements, like how many days you're going to get for temporary lodging or like you know, if you are qualify for getting DLA twice in a year because you moved twice in a year, like that kind of stuff, like real technical questions, I feel like, or if you need help battling a TSP, which is like the moving companies because you had a bunch of damages, like that is your absolute like go-to resource. And we can put that in the show notes. I'm sure we can tag that
Yeah. We'll have Ryan do it.
group.
Go Ryan.
But yeah, she's incredible for like
Yeah.
all the work
I will
that she does.
also
She's great.
say specifically moving CONUS or OCONUS. I'm not sure about CONUS because I've never had an issue, but like they will say your shipment will arrive in 60 days or 58 days or whatever. And if it goes over that, you are entitled to reimbursement of things that you may need. So like
That you had to
if
buy
you're like
because your
it's
stuff didn't
been
come.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
most of the time, at least I shouldn't say most of the time because I did it one time, but I called and I was like, our time is almost up. So I guess I'll just be sending you receipts. And then literally the next morning they were like, no, you know what? Your stuff is here. So let's get it scheduled. And I was like, okay, great.
Isn't it funny how that just magically happened?
Yeah. And
I
I'm a
know.
little aggressive about it, but I just like don't trust them. So I'm just going to go on the assumption that they're going to screw something up so that I'm not scrambling after the fact. And usually it works out for me. You know, I'll be nice about
Honestly,
it.
after
as long
7
as
moves,
they're
I feel like
helpful.
it's the only way.
Yeah.
I feel like
This is
most
the
things in
government,
life,
people.
you know, you catch more, you know, flies with honey than you do the
Yeah.
other thing. But like when it comes
Mhm.
to military contractors and movers and like government entities, no, strong arm, bar fight mode, 100%.
And like you don't have to like just get on the phone and yell at them, but like you got to be firm. You got to be
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I know what I'm entitled to, and so if this does not happen, like that's not my problem. You literally have one job, so I will be
Yes, being
receiving
armed
what
with the
I'm
right
entitled to.
information is everything. Like
Yeah.
knowing exactly what the policy is, knowing exactly what you're entitled to, and knowing what confines like they have to operate in. Because then they can't argue with you. I mean, they could try, but you're like, oh, according to AR 670-1, which actually is not about moving at all. This is what you have to do, and this is what I'm entitled to. Then they're just like, oh crap, like this lady's not messing around. Like I'm gonna go ahead and just send her stuff because it's not worth it to argue with her.
Yeah, let me actually do the work to find out what's going on. Another
Yeah.
hack, if you have a friend wherever you're PCSing, Oconus specifically, send some stuff to them, like to their APO box ahead of time.
Yes.
And it's
Big.
isn't
I
it
was-
free to ship APO to APO too?
It is.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you know other people who are fun
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ryan got here before us, so I was able to do that just to our APO box because he got it all set up. But if I hadn't been able to do that, it just would have been like stressful, you know, like we got here and I had diapers waiting for us, that kind of thing. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know,
So
I didn't want a whole
here's a
suitcase full
fun
of
fact.
diapers.
If you have your orders, you can email your gaining installations post office if you're Oconus, and you can say, "Hey,
Cool.
can you set up my mailbox?" Because I did that before we moved here, so I did the same
Look at
thing.
you.
The first week we were here, I had diapers
That's
at the
such a
post
hack.
office. I had like stuff
Love it.
waiting for me. It was awesome. So a lot of people don't know that. They think you have to wait till you get there, but you can even
didn't know
from
that.
I did not know
even
that.
from CONUS, you can do it from CONUS. It's like you find the post office email, attach your orders, and just say, "Hey, can you please set up my APO box?" And they verify everything, and they email you your new address. Then you can do all of
That
your
is
change of
awesome.
address stuff like ahead of time. Like for me,
That
that's
is
like
awesome.
a big like hassle doing like we have to go log into USPS and blah 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 blah. It's like annoying having to change your address a million times. So to be able to do it on the front end before, and that's like one less thing out of like 200 things you have to do when you arrive at a duty station, especially Oconus, that you just don't even have to worry about. Like chef's kiss. Love it.
Yes.
That's a huge hack, and I'm like annoyed that I didn't know that. We waited till we got here. And so that's why I had freaking 9 bags with me, because I brought literally like everything I could have thought of, versus if I could have just like ordered
Yeah.
stuff to be delivered to us, like, and known that that would have been a thing. Like that would have been huge, because packing was so stressful when we moved here, that like knowing that and just go ahead and Amazon stuff there, that'd have
Yes.
been beautiful. I wish I had a tip. I feel like I am such an amateur when it comes to moving, because I haven't done it as many times and like overseas, but like I think that Facebook group sounds amazing. Wish I had that, because I didn't have that. I just like Dr. Googled everything. And then like reaching out to people that messaging the post office. I really don't have like anything else to add, because I feel like mine is just keep telling yourself it's fine. You're fine. Everything's fine. And you will survive. Oh, actually, I lied. Send yourself blackout curtains. Send yourself blackout
Yes.
curtains. Either bring them with you in a suitcase, and or do what Tori said. Reach out, set up a mailbox, and send them there, because you don't know what the sleeping condition is going to be like wherever you end up. And with jet lag and things like that, like here in South Korea, the sun rises at like 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like my kids aren't allowed out of bed till 7 minimum. And when we first were in our house, I didn't have blackout curtains in Declan's room. And so homie was like trying to wake up at 5:30, and I was like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Not doing this. So I had to order them on Amazon, but then I had to wait for them to get here. So that would be my thing that I learned. It's like pack
Yeah.
them or set up in advance, send them. So that way, like for sleep wise, it's already going to be hard and it's going to be a doozy. But to make it as like natural sleep as possible, bring the blackout curtains.
Yeah, and they have some that have little suction cups that you can literally just put onto the window. I actually permanently had those in Johnny's room for the longest time. I packed his in his suitcase because I was like, we're
Genius.
not doing this.
Yeah.
I think I did a lot of my mistakes when we lived in Germany, so I was like a lot more prepared to come here. Like I didn't do like a mailbox ahead when we moved to Germany. You know, there's so many things that I learned. Like, you know, I had 9 suitcases for 3 people when we moved to
Yeah,
Germany.
it's
Like
fine.
it was, and you know what? I do like your advice though. Like it is gonna be fine. Like no matter what, no matter how hard that first few days is, no matter how hard that first couple of weeks, couple of months in country, like also the transition back is extremely hard too. Like I had such a tough
Hey,
time.
don't
we
tell me
we
that.
only had 7 months. Well, see, you're going to have a little bit easier of a time because you're going to be moving back there, quote unquote, permanently. You know, we were there for 7
True.
months. We went
Yeah.
Germany to Arizona for 7 months, and then we moved to Korea. We PCS 2 international PCSs in 1 year. 12 out of 10 do not recommend. It was the worst thing ever. Not only because I just didn't want to leave Germany, but also because I don't know, that was such a stressful time, like reintegrating back into American life. Just hearing people speak English all around you was just very weird. there's so many transitions that happen. And so just keeping in mind, like, you will be fine. Like, no matter what, even if it doesn't feel fine, it's going to take months. It might take days. It might take weeks. You know, it will eventually be fine. I promise. But like, that is good advice. Just keep that in your mind. Like, you will be okay, even
That's
when it
my life
doesn't feel like
mantra,
it.
dude. But I always tell
Okay, we
myself that's
have
my mantra.
got to hit our Momtroversial moments because
Yeah.
we're gonna go until like midnight if we
Yes.
don't.
Okay. So every single week, we like to share a momtroversial moment. So it is just a moment that highlights motherhood, that highlights some of the moments that nobody prepares you for as a mom, that when you're in them, it's either funny, it's sad, it just is literally motherhood to a T. So, Alyssa, why don't you start us off with your momtroversial moment for the week?
Okay, so this is real talk. Okay, we
Unfiltered.
found out
Unfiltered.
that this is unfiltered. This is borderline a trigger warning. Okay, like stop now potentially. Okay, we have worms, pinworms, parasites. We have them. Something that made me feel like not the most disgusting person in the world. I think Tori, you told me it, and then I googled it, and it is true. Korea has like a national like health alert out. Like it's just a thing in Korea because it's disgusting here.
Korea.
Yeah, KK was not sleeping well, and it was just a whole thing. But what is it like TLDR? Too long didn't read. Is that what that means?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
We finally were at the edge of our rope, and I had remembered something I saw on Instagram. I was like, what if she has parasites? And sure enough, we do, because when one person in a house has them, pretty much everyone has them. So we had to go to the ER, we got on meds, and it's a medication that you take once when you get it, and then once again in 2 weeks, and it essentially makes it so the pinworms cannot feed off of you. And so they just kind of slowly die out, which is why you take it again in 2 weeks. It's kind of like the
Flush it out. Yeah.
yeah, but they lay eggs in your butthole or like on your butthole. And so they were like, just wash your sheets every morning. I have gone way above and beyond that. I made Ryan wipe down every single toy we own. We washed every blanket we own. I steam cleaned our couch. I steam cleaned all of our chairs. Anything with fabric got steam cleaned. We are washing our sheets every single morning. We are showering and cleaning our buttholes morning and night. The towels are getting washed every day. No one is going anywhere without underwear, at least on. I'm trying to put us all in like biker shorts and stuff that like just keeps everything in. They're not like, they don't like just drop out, but like, I'm so disgusted by our life right now. So we've kind of been shut in the last few days. And I don't really know when we'll venture out into society again. But they said, like, the doctors are like, you're good once you take the medicine. Like, you'll be fine. But we've gone on a total hand washing boot camp. It was not the best time to potty train, but we started before we found out. So we were committed.
Hey, you're home anyways. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. So tip.
What a
Pinworms and
momtroversial
all
moment.
cream.
better.
Yeah. Diaper cream seems to help with the itching. That was why KK wasn't sleeping well, because she was so itchy. So diaper cream seems to get in their way of laying the eggs, and also just like helps with the itching a little bit. So we've been doing that because they're still pull-ups at night. But yeah, it's gross. Apparently
Okay, I
it's
have
a
a
lot
totally
more common
unhinged
than people
question
know
for you.
about it. So yes, I'm here.
Ask it, ask it, ask it, ask it.
So did you actually like do the tape test and like do the flashlight and like look at the buttholes to see the worms? Like, did you see the worms? That's basically what I want to know.
We did the flashlight test. Ryan and I did it on the girls at like 2 a.m. When KK was up in the middle of the night throwing a fit. I was like, lay on your bed. Let me see your butthole. We're like both shining flashlights in. We're like, we can't see anything. So we didn't see anything then. And then the doctor, when we went to the ER, the doctor did the tape test on the girls. I didn't ask him, and he never asked me. And I was like, honestly, so grateful for it that he didn't like tell me to like get on the bed. I was like, I can't. Let me do a little scotch tape. I do have a line as it is. But it was actually a great learning experience, I guess, like to do with the girls. I was like, okay, the doctor's going to touch your butt, and your butt is a private part, but it is okay that the doctor is touching it because he's going to help you, and mommy is in the room. She was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, so he did do the tape test on them. The eggs look like little like pieces of toilet paper, you know? Like,
Oh,
if
okay.
you're, like, wiping your butt and, like, little
Yeah.
shards of toilet paper, that's what they kinda look like, either, like, white or a little darker.
You wouldn't even be able to tell then on your
Yeah.
own.
Yeah, I've literally been taking when I shower them, I take a washcloth, and we have this, feminine wash from Rocasa,
Mm,
for whenever we have to do anything down there, because it's supposed to keep your pH balance intact and all the
mm,
things.
cool.
And so I just take that, I put soap on it, and I just rub their buttholes with a washcloth, and I rub it, and then I take a different part of the washcloth, and I rub, like, down their vaginas, because the eggs can kind of travel. They're sticky. The washcloth gets put in a laundry detergent bucket that gets washed once a day to kill all the eggs. You can
I'm
kill
not
so
even
what
sorry that I
really
asked. I needed to know all of that information.
well, what kills the eggs is hot water too. So like you have
Okay.
to wash everything on hot. Yeah, it's so nasty, but like I know so much now.
Man, thanks a
And
lot, Korea. So many gross things.
yeah, it's terrible, but I think like we're probably just going to like hang out and not go a lot of places until they stop waking up with eggs in their butt.
I'm
But I hope
dead.
that
Totally
doesn't
fair.
take 2
Yeah.
weeks because that would suck.
That would
Like we're
suck.
basically
So
leaving.
you've seen the eggs like every day. Like you keep seeing the eggs.
Yeah. This morning, after I had put the diaper cream on them last night, they were a little less, but then there were eggs by the time we wiped them again. But the idea is like the worms are dying because they
Right.
can't
So they're
feed.
coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, the worms, we haven't seen any worms. Both the girls pooped in the potty today though,
Hmm.
so
They're
we're
swimming
not
around all
inspecting our
clear
poop.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah, like we're not inspecting our poop. I'm just not like if there's no more eggs, there's no more worms. So
So fair.
yeah, so we'll see. Keep you
What a
updated.
Momtroversial moment. Oh
Bro,
my God.
I felt like the most disgusting person on the planet for a few days. I was like, I
Gosh.
cannot believe this.
Well, we still love you. Worms on your
Thanks.
butt and all.
From afar.
Like,
We told
just
Reagan, we called my parents this morning. She goes, Nana, I got worms in my butt. Ryan just died.
what did your mom say? What?
She knew about it. Actually, what really stressed me out because my mom's like, she's definitely open-minded now and she just didn't have the resources back then, but I'm still vastly more crunchy than she will ever be. So like I brought it up to her like the night before we like went to the yard and figured it out and everything. I was like, I think they might have worms. She goes, yeah, I was wondering that too. And I was like, oh my God, you think they do? Then they definitely do.
The measure.
Yeah. So
It's
anyways,
so
anyone else?
funny. Story?
I can. So, yeah, I had like an emotional roller coaster of a situation this week with Hannah's bunny. So, we were at the PX and she's like, sharing her bunny with Charlie. He's like playing with it, kissing it, dropping it on the ground. She's picking it up, like it's this whole thing. Well, I was keeping track of it up until we got to a certain point in the store. And then we get to like, we're in the shoe department trying to find Charlie some shoes. And she's like, Mom, I can't find Bun Bun. And I was like, oh no, like, all right, well, we'll just retrace our steps. We'll find it. It's not a big deal. Y'all, we spent 2 freaking hours looking for Bun Bun. So, a little backstory on Bun Bun. She's had her for like 3 years. She sleeps in her bed every night. She has a little cage she lives in. She's very much like emotional attachment, like part of my daughter's family. Okay. Which means she's part of our family. So I'm like, you know, I I'm like, this is so important to her, even if it's like seems like the thing is like it doesn't actually even seem ridiculous to me because that's her bunny. That's her baby little Bun Bun. Like who
Mm-hmm.
am I to judge her
Mhm.
for her attachment to her Bun Bun? So, we go above and beyond. I mean, this girl, this is so important to her. She's asking strangers if they've seen Bun Bun. Like she is just like absolutely like going all out. So we trace our steps through the store like 5 or 6 times. We talked to the admin in the back. We even talked to loss prevention. They looked through all of the cameras and they're like, we're so sorry. We cannot find your bunny. We had to leave the store without Bun Bun. And we're both really upset about it. She held it together so well. I'm so proud of her. Like, not that she couldn't have fallen apart at any moment, but I don't know. She's just like we're almost home and in the driveway, and we're telling Daddy what happened to Bun Bun, and she's just like, "And my Bun Bun's gone," and she just starts like crying, and I'm like crying like low key, but like trying not to add to her stress. I'm just like, because I feel so sad. Like her heart was broken over this bunny, and can't replace Bunny because we bought her in Germany and they don't sell Bun Bun anymore. And it's just like this whole thing. So every single day she's asking me. Also, I posted on our Facebook group, like, hey, we lost this bunny at, X time, blah, blah, blah. She asked me every day, does anyone posted that they find Bunny? I'm calling the PX every single day. Did you find this bunny? No, sorry, we didn't find her yet. Well, then randomly, like 2 days, was it yesterday?
I think it was just
It's all running together.
I know, it's so all running together. No, it was Friday because I was almost late for our double date with until I got home like 30 minutes before the babysitter showed up. I just randomly look at my phone and I jumped out of my seat. I was like, "Hey Hannah, someone found Bun Bun." She's like, "We gotta go get her right now." She literally runs to the shoe room, puts on her shoes. I was like, "Okay, hold on, let me grab my water, let me grab my keys," like whatever. We drive to the PX, we pick up Bun Bun. She's reunited with Bun Bun. I literally started crying because I was just so overwhelmed with like emotions. Like did not expect to find this bunny, like not at all. I did not think we would ever see Bun Bun again. And I was like trying to figure out if we were going to replace it or whatever. Cause like on one hand, you're like, you want to teach your kids, like if you lose something, like you don't always get it back. And like you have to keep track of your stuff and whatever. But like when it's an emotional attachment, that's like literal grief. Like she was going through an actual like grief period. And that's just not something that we've ever encountered or that I was like prepared to really handle. Like grief over a little Bun Bun, like, but I just couldn't believe it. So we raced right over to the PX. We picked her up. The store manager told me, she's like, "We have had the entire store looking for this bunny." Apparently, one of the employees picked it up and put it in like the go back basket because they thought it was something that they sold at the store. So it was like sitting in this basket for like a day or two or whatever, and they would like put it back on the floor. But then because like literally loss prevention, the store manager, everyone's looking for Bun Bun, they found her, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you got your bunny back." And Hannah's like, Bun Bun, you're never leaving the house ever again." So yeah, that was just this crazy roller coaster of emotions and like dealing with her grief over losing her beloved favorite bunny. And like it was the whole thing. I cried a lot because it was just overwhelming emotionally. It was like, because you as a parent, you don't want your kid to hurt, but it's like we did literally everything we could possibly do. And, in the end, it worked out for us, but you never know like what the outcome is going to be with something like that. But Bun Bun and Hannah have been reunited. It's all happy ending.
so good.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, that's my Momtroversial roller coaster moment.
I love it. We haven't really had anything like big this week. I think for me, like most, I'm just like, wow, like I am living it. I am living the motherhood dream. Declan has started calling us by our first names this week. So
I love that.
kid you not wake up in the morning, "Leah, where's Travis? What's Travis doing?"
I'm
Like, "You mean
dead.
daddy?" And he said, "Yeah, Travis." And then he'll be like locking himself out of the house, banging on the door, "Leah, hello, Leah, help me." And I'm like, and what cracks me up is he does it to Trav more than me. Like for me, he's like 70-30, mommy, Leah. But he's like only calling Travis Trav. Like, and I don't know if it's because he hears me say Trav. And so that's why he's doing it. And instead of saying daddy, Trav hates it. He's like, "Stop calling me Travis. My name is Daddy to you." And Declan's like, "Okay, Travis." And Travis like, so that's my thing. That is like, I'm like, we are living the dream of motherhood this week is just cracking me up. Like something nobody told me to prepare for was when a 2.5-year-old just hears your name enough that they realize that's who you are. And you stop being called mommy or daddy and you start being called Leah and Travis. Instead of like lingering on it, I am just telling myself it's a phase. I'm not going to draw attention to it because the more I draw attention to it, the more he's going to do it. And on the bright side, if he ever gets lost, he knows mommy's name is Leah and daddy's name is
Yeah.
Travis.
Yep. That's so
So
true.
maybe he could say, help me find Leah and Travis. And they'll be like, oh, we know Leah and Travis. So that's our thing. And it's hilarious. It just cracks me up first thing in the morning. Where's Travis? Travis wake? Travis go back to work? Travis eat breakfast? Like, I'm dead. And then Travis, we'll hear him from our bedroom. And Travis is like, my name is Dad.
Okay, wait
So
like a couple of years till him and Ella are playing and they're pretending to be the two of you. That's what That's what
Oh my
Hannah and
gosh.
Johnny do. I'll just hear
That's
like,
hilarious.
David, come here. And David's looking at me like, but then Johnny's like, here I am, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, it's really cute and funny.
that's so fun. I freaking love it. It is such a blast.
It's funny.
Is an unspoken truth that you wish you would have known or mom hack that you guys want to share, you can DM us on all social media platforms, Momtroversial_podcast, and we would love to be able to share your story on our next episode. We have loved sharing the wild, unspoken side of parenting, from poop turds at your neighbor's house to eggs in your butthole to how to find your bunny. And next time your little one loses it, Tori told you exactly what to do. Hit us up on Instagram. Stay real, stay curious, and join us next week for more Bold Mom Talk. Until then, keep it Momtroversial.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.